and there are already existing legislation, and we are also aware,
led by our own distinguished Senator Aliyu Abdullahi, who is the Deputy Chief Whip of the Senate. Distinguished Senators, you are welcome to this forum.
Thank you very much, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. We're here, as the chairman has said, the Niger State Caucus in the National Assembly. And we're here this morning to intimate you of a very, very urgent and critical issue bordering our very dear state, Niger State. And that is why we felt, as representative of the people, we should come and lend our voice to the issue, especially given the period in which we are in right now. That is the budget session. We are here, the 3 senators from the Senate and the 10 members we have from the House of Reps. We are 13 in number. The caucus is a 13-member caucus. And we are all APC. We are all APC. And so we felt it is incumbent upon us to come here and cry out with a view to getting attention that our state badly requires at this stage. Like you all know, Niger State is the largest state in terms of landmass in Nigeria. The state is about 76,363 kilometers square. And with this also, Niger State has the longest Trunk A network of federal roads, spanning 2,176. In some statistics, you will say 2,365. I think we'll go with the later one, 2,365. Now, like you're all aware, we are located in the North Central Zone. The implication of this is that if you are traveling from the northeast, northwest, you have to pass through Niger State, taking the trunk A2 from Kaduna down to Benengwari, down to Tegina, down to Makera, down to Bokani, Mokwa, Jeba, before you exit into Kwara State. At the same vein, if you are going to Kebbi and Zamfara or Sokoto State, you will now detour at Makera to Kontagora, and then from Kontagora you have 2 or 3 options to go to either through Bangi or to go through Rijau or you go through Yawi, depending on where you are going to. Now, in the same vein also, when you come to Mokwa, you have an option to take Bida. From Bida, the Trunk A road leads to Agaye, Lapai, and then off to Lambata to join the Mina Suleja highway. Now, all these roads, as we speak to you, are in very, very, very deplorable state. This is no thanks to some developments, especially the heavy rainfall. The downpour this year is so heavy. Now, what we witnessed was, first, the very bad, deplorable state of the Trunk A2 from Mokwa to Bokani to Makera to Tegina, which will take you onwards to Kaduna. Because that is the main road that most of our heavy vehicles ply. This road became very bad, and fortunately 2015 or thereabout, the Mokwa Bida road was rehabilitated, total rehabilitation. And so that 1.5 hour journey is a very smooth road. So most vehicles now use that particular road. When they get to Bida, it's either they go from Bida to Mina, or they take the Agaye, Lapai, Lambata road, which is the actual federal government Trunk A road. The Bida Makwa road, the Bida Mina road is a trunk, that is federal state government road. The heavy traffic that we have witnessed in the last 2 years on this road has impacted very negatively on all the routes. The result today is that the western bypass in Minna is completely degraded. And the road from Bidda to Minna itself has witnessed cut off. It was cut off twice. First by torrential rain and the heavy weight, and the situation has remained this deplorable. Now, for those who are familiar with the Suleja Minna road, there are sections of the road that were very good, but because of the heavy weight vehicles plying that road were carrying, in the last 1-2 months, the story on that road is one of cry and anguish, because people have had to sleep there for 2-3 days as a result of a section giving up completely, becoming very muddy, vehicles breaking down there, these trailers breaking down here, and in fact it was almost impossible for vehicles coming for rescue to even go there. So as we speak today, this is impacting very negatively on our citizenry. Nigerians are in pain. Like you all know, the local economy involves people trading from one market to the other. Along all these routes that I have mentioned, this daily market is no longer possible. And so this is impacting on the welfare of our citizens and definitely requiring that we call for very urgent action. We have made our case, but we felt it is important that we cry out in this manner so that even our own citizens, we know that we are very concerned about what is happening on our roads. Right now, if you look at the volume of road network we have, there are about 32 or 33 roads coming from one location to the other. But I have chosen to mention these very critical ones that people who are flying from either the south, northwest, northeast, going down to the south, the roads they normally pass to the southwest, and some parts of even the southeast. So the point I'm trying to make here is, as much as efforts are being made to stabilize the road, the state government has made efforts to stabilize the road, but no sooner than a particular segment is stabilized will another segment also give in. And by the time they move to that other segment, this same area that has been stabilized will also give in. One thing we also want to report is the fact that the vehicles plying these roads are carrying overweight, or what you call overload. Some of them are designed for 30 tons, some 40 tons. But what you see today is 60 tons, 70 tons, even 90 tons. Right before your very eyes, as these trailers are passing, you will see the road sinking in as they move. And of course, you know the implication. When that happens, and given the rainy season, of course, that gets washed off and it becomes what we have always said, bad road. So the essence of this is to actually call on the federal government, in particular under the leadership of the Minister of Works, and indeed our father, Mr. President, to take interest in what is happening. What might interest you is to know that the bulk of these vehicles are not vehicles belonging to Niger State. They are vehicles plying the road to do their business. Vehicles belonging to Nigerians. But the impact that is left behind as a result of their movement is felt by Nigerites. And that is the most painful part. And that is why, as their representative, we felt duty bound to make this statement or press conference so that people will know, Nigerians will know, Mr. President will know that this issue is truly, genuinely a serious issue. And what we are asking for is a state of emergency to be declared on 3 roads in the first instance. Of course, it will be our wish that all the 33 roads will be fixed. But we are aware of the financial situation. But then, 3 roads are critical to solving this particular issue. That is the Minasuleja, which is a dualization. And of course, we are asking for this because we are aware of the policy that says all states adjoining the FCT should have a dual carriageway. Niger State is the only state that does not enjoy that dual carriageway. And Niger State contributed 75% of the total land area of the FCT. I think we have given our due to this country and we deserve to be given something back. We need that dual carriageway so that our people can have succor. That is the first road. The second road is the trunk A1 leading to the A2. That is the Jeba, the one that came from Makwa to Bokani, Makera, Tegina, down to Bindingwari and onward to Kaduna. That road, if it is fixed, will reduce the pressure on whatever is going to be done to these 2 other roads I will mention. I've mentioned the first one, which is the Minasuleja road. Because those who are going to Kaduna are forced to take this road because that other road is bad. So if that road is fixed, those going there will have no option but to continue on that road and to leave this other road. Then the third one is the Bidda Lambata road. Because those who are coming from Makwa to Bidda and coming to Abuja will find it much easier to come through that road. So these 3 roads are in need of emergency. Because if you fix this particular Suleja Mina road without fixing these 2 other roads, all you are doing is you are putting pressure on this particular road. So, gentlemen of the press, this is our cry, and we are convinced beyond reasonable doubt that beyond what is happening under the budgetary atmosphere, we are calling on Mr. President to please do the needful for our people by giving a special intervention funding so that these 3 roads we have mentioned can be fixed. And we believe if that is fixed, it will help in the diversification of the economy as we talk about. Because right now, we are convinced beyond reasonable doubt, based on what we have seen on the ground, that supplies that are meant for industries, either in the south or even in the north, are being held down unnecessarily. And you know, when things, in terms of supply, when supplies are held down, you know production is not achieved. Of course, when you are not having production, then you'll be losing revenue in return. So we know the interplay, and that is why we are appealing. And like we also said, our citizens, we want to have their routine movement from this village to the next village for their social engagement, for their marketing, where they make their little earnings to continue. So we wouldn't want a situation where our state is cut off from civilization. We wouldn't want that. And right now, if nothing is done, honestly, that is what is going to happen, because these roads will give in and movements will be stopped. We make this as representative of Niger Lights, and it is our hope will be well received and the needful will be done as a matter of emergency. That is why we are compelled to make this passionate appeal to Mr. President, to the Minister of Works, BRF, because we believe they have what it takes to do the needful. Remember, we are not in session. Ordinarily, we would have been debating or discussing these issues on the floor of the Senate. But given the fact, the Senate and the House, but given the fact that we are not in plenary, that is why we have to resort to this, because the issue is getting bad by the day. It's worsening by the day. So we can't wait until we resume plenary. That's why we are making this particular statement and appeal, and it's our hope that this will be well received. We are going to meet our principal officers and also intimate them of what we have done and what we expect of them. Thank you very much, Rich. Now, what we are expecting is enforcement. The Federal Road Safety Corps, if they are doing their enforcement, they know when somebody is carrying an overweight. So we are also appealing to them on this note to do the needful. And I believe if there are gaps within the context of the legislative framework like you have said, we are more than willing to take this matter up, because as we speak, it is not just this example, it is entirely the roads in the country that are affected. It's a bad thing that we design roads for a particular weight, and then some people are carrying 2 times over that particular weight. Nobody is doing anything. Definitely we will continue to just throw our money on the ground. That investment will not last. Roads are supposed to be built to last for 10, 20 years or even more. But when you see vehicles carrying more mad weight, I think something needs to be done. And along this line, we thank you for that question, and we are emphasizing that the Federal Ministry of Works should strengthen the issue of the way bridge, policy, and then the Federal Road Safety Commission should also try to enforce, because our key issue is sometimes it's not the law, it's the enforcement.
Yeah. Okay, Guardian.
Your very brilliant elucidation. But let me say one thing very clearly. We are here for a purpose. When you have an emergency, protocol, procedure, processes become irrelevant. The emergency we are dealing with right now is the fact that I will tell you, if you want to go to Mina now, when you start this journey now, until tomorrow morning before you tell me you've reached Mina. And we are also saying, if you are a businessman in Kaduna, Kano, Bauchi, and other parts of the north, waiting for your raw material, or even your products you have ordered to be delivered to you, and you have customers waiting the following day to pick it, please give them 3 days or 4 days before your supplies will get to you. If you have a factory down south and you are expecting raw material to come from the north, please put your production schedule to accommodate that raw material only after 3, 4, 5 days. This is what we are here. This is why we are complaining. The end result is that vehicles that are passing through, like I said, are only passing through en route other destinations. And arising from that, our own citizens that are living their local life from one village to the other are finding it very difficult to even move. This is why we are crying out. This is why we are crying out. And so for us, the import of our being here is that we are still asking for what you call emergency. The word emergency as a dictionary meaning is designed to be emergency. And we are saying that there is an emergency in Niger State. An emergency does not require normal process. That's why we are crying. I don't want us to find ourselves debating the egg and the chicken, which one came first. Because clearly all we are saying right now is that there is an emergency in Niger State in terms of our road infrastructure. And these roads are federal roads. Like we said, the state government has tried to fix some parts, and as they fix, it still gets bad because of the heavy traffic. The trunk A2, like I told you, is completely abandoned. So the question here is, if you remember, about 2 years back, there was a cutoff completely between Jeba and Mokwa at one location we call Katabu. You remember? And what happened to fix it? During that period, people were looking for all routes, because that's a major trunk road. And we are saying that we are almost running into the same situation right now, if not more than. Because between Bida to Mokwa, the road was reconstructed 2015, 2016. That's when they completed it. Solid. But right now, as I'm telling you, because all vehicles have now shifted to that direction, you need to see the road is already giving in. So to save our investment, we are asking as a matter of urgency that the trunk A1, which branch off into A2 at Makera, should also be receiving attention as a matter of emergency, so that the investment we have here can be saved. And to also fix the Mina Suleja road. That's why we are saying emergency. As a nation, we are appealing to our overall leader President Muhammadu Buhari. That's why we are appealing. That's why we are crying out. So it's an emergency. Like we said, ordinarily we should have, if it's something normal, we'll have all waited. Those of them in the reps will prepare their motion, co-sponsored by all of them. And then those of the three of us here will do that. But what we saw in the last 3, 4, 5 days is so serious. And it is also breeding insecurity. Because the volume of vehicles on that road has increased. The roads are bad. And I'm telling you, some of our relations, there's accidents. I personally, if I must speak, I've lost 2 brothers in the last 1 week. Accident on this road. My junior brother just escaped barely with his life 2 days ago. Attacked by armed robbers. It's the same story all of us here have to tell. Because the road is bad, you can't even move, and hoodlums have taken over. So the implication is that we are saying this. When they enjoin that, Abuja is not too far from Niger. It's not too far. So these are the issues we are bringing as representative of the people who are on the ground, who knows what is happening. That's why we are here as members in the National Assembly. So I appreciate your concern. We've taken note of that, and I would suggest if you can put a small brief for us, so that as parliamentarians, the beauty of this press briefing has given us some brilliant ideas coming from you, and we can take it further. But please, for this particular press briefing, there's an emergency in Niger State. We want you to please report that there is an emergency.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So thank you very much. We appreciate, and we are together. God bless you. Chairman, tell them to see something. Make a who is your Aminu? Who is your new Aminu? Okay. Yeah. It's okay. There is an emergency.